Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties.
Catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then it's on the internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
But there will be a time. So you can stop dragging people and arguing with people and fighting and just log off. All you do is just hit the button. Right there. Log off.
You been to these parties, right?
Oh, yeah. I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards. So I know what goes on at the parties. If, they probably got a little bit more freakier, as time went on. Because they got to the point whereas that they didn't even care. It used to be secretly, where people used to go to, separate rooms and different rooms, and they wasn't doing that out in the public, but now they don't care. Men kissing men and all this other shit. That's just crazy.
I mean, if Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons.
Hey, Bishop Jakes, how are you?
What's up, man?
Man, it's so good to see you.
It's better to see you. How you doing?
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed out. I don't drink, so I was playing that I don't drink. I smoke, Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but, like, everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what was going on, but I just heard against cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. Like, when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone and I recorded all this. I was like, this Diddy. So I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me.
And I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then it's on the internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end?
One moment, Bishop T.D. Jakes was the iron pillar of modern ministry. Millions tuned in weekly, presidents queued for counsel, celebrities begged for front row seats. The next moment he announced he was stepping down from the pulpit he'd ruled since the 90s. No buildup, no farewell tour, just a polite statement that he'd pursue new projects. On any other week, that might pass for a routine leadership change, but this week also happens to be the final sprint towards Sean Diddy Combs' most perilous court showdown yet. And according to Oscar-winning firestarter Monique, those two headlines are glued together like pages in the same scandal novel. She says Jakes didn't retire, he retreated. She swears receipts exist that show the bishop was deeper in Diddy's locked-door universe than anyone realized. If she's right, the world is about to learn why a preacher, a rapper, and a comedian suddenly collide in the same storm gust. Stick around, because the next few minutes might change how you view megachurches, hip-hop moguls, and damage control forever. For 3 decades, T.D. Jakes was more than a clergyman, he was a brand. He headlined arenas like a rock star, launched successful films, wrote best-selling devotionals, and hosted talk shows that blurred lines between sermon and daytime TV. His voice echoed at the funerals of Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin. He counseled Presidents Bush and Obama, preached to kings, and still found time for weekly live streams that pulled in viewers from Nairobi to Nashville. But when news flashed that Jakes was stepping down from day-to-day leadership at the Potter's House, people felt it in their bones. Picture the Pope announcing he's taking an indefinite sabbatical, or the Dalai Lama saying he's switching careers. That level of shock rippled through churches, cafes, and comment sections alike. The official line? New ventures. A polite corporate-flavored phrase hinting at documentaries, real estate projects, maybe another Netflix-style faith drama. But a polite press release couldn't muffle the roar of suspicion rumbling online. Why now? Why so sudden? And why only weeks before Diddy's courtroom clock sounds its final chime? Backtrack a single year. A phone camera pans across Diddy's 53rd third birthday blowout in Los Angeles. Gold confetti rains, champagne flows, and in the middle of that glimmering chaos, viewers freeze frame a familiar silhouette. Bishop T.D. Jakes, chatting with industry giants as if he were the hip-hop kingpin's top advisor. When that clip hit Twitter, church Twitter practically short-circuited. Diddy's parties are Hollywood legend invitation only, phone check at the door, rumors of everything from designer DG Rabs to anything goes rooms. Critics ask the obvious. What business does a globally famous pastor have wading through that swamp? Jake's media team sprang into action. Executive Vice President Derek Williams insisted it was a brief stop to record a birthday greeting. No wild behavior, no afterhounds antics, just professional courtesy because Jake's sermons aired on Diddy's Revolt network. They left within minutes, he claimed, yet many viewers didn't buy it. Not with the clip showing the bishop lingering for more than a quick cameo, not with his smile matching the vibe of the room, and especially not once Diddy's legal avalanche started gathering speed. That single-party snapshot now looked less like a cameo and more like foreshadowing. Enter Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a music producer who spent 14 months inside Diddy's empire. When Jones filed a 98-page federal bombshell accusing the mogul of drug-fueled coercion, illegal surveillance, and intimidation, the document sent tremors through the industry. Buried deep in the filing, one line mentioned Bishop T.D. Jakes as part of Diddy's planned image rehab strategy after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit hit headlines. The bishop wasn't named as a defendant, yet the mere mention detonated conversation. Why would a pastor be woven into Diddy's crisis plan unless their bond stretched beyond Sunday pleasantries? Meme pages went wild, pairing pulpit photos with party footage. Hashtags like pray for the receipts and Bishop in the bad boy house trended for days. Suddenly, that party clip wasn't a curiosity. It was exhibit A in a spreading theory. Jakes and Diddy share more than casual friendship. And if those ties are hidden, perhaps they're hidden for a reason. Comedian Monique has never been shy about confronting industry hypocrisy. She tangled with Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Netflix long before it was trendy to call out powerhouses. So when she popped up on a podcast saying Bishop Jakes' retirement smells like fear, not freedom, ears perked up. According to her, the bishop's exit timeline syncs too perfectly with Diddy's trial calendar to be a coincidence. She claims to have heard whispers that Jakes attended more than one of those infamous parties, and that Diddy's private vault of screenshots and recordings could torch anyone who dares abandon him now. In Monique's view, the bishop scanned the horizon, saw a legal mushroom cloud forming, and ran for shelter before it burst. The internet loves a good conspiracy, but Monique's record of accuracy, she predicted the fallout of several Hollywood feuds before mainstream outlets touched them, gives her words extra voltage. Fans quickly dubbed her the unofficial prosecutor of celebrity secrets, urging her to drop the receipts or drop the mic. Just when the rumor mill began looping the same talking points, former Diddy bodyguard Gene Deal entered the chat. Deal spent years guarding the mogul's mansion doors, watching guest lists like a hawk. In a no-holds-barred interview, he stated flatly, "I saw Bishop Jakes at Diddy's parties, inside, not outside. He wasn't there for a drive-by blessing." Those words rocked the conversation. This wasn't a random blogger speculating. It was a man hired to stand between VIPs and danger, a first-hand witness claiming the bishop was present for private festivities known for rule-free indulgence. Deal didn't detail what Jakes allegedly did, but his tone suggested involvement, not mere observation. For believers who defended Jakes, this felt like the floor tilting under their pews. For skeptics, it sounded like confirmation. And for Monique, it was pure rocket fuel. She reposted the clip with 3 popcorn emojis and no caption, a silent nod that she'd warned everyone already. Facing the loudest rumors of his career, Bishop Jakes took to the pulpit on Christmas Eve. Many expected a fiery denial, a slam dunk statement clearing his name. Instead, they got a cryptic reflection on repentance. He told his flock that even if the worst were true, sincere confession would wash any stain. Then he added, "But I don't need to repent for this." The contradiction hit social media like a cold slap. Viewers clipped the sermon and slowed it down frame by frame. Why float a theoretical sin, then dodge a firm rejection? Some called it humility. Others labeled it a soft admission. Either way, it didn't silence the chatter. It spiked it. Within hours, Why Not Just Say No trended above holiday recipes and blockbuster trailers. The bishop's silence on specifics thundered louder than an outright confession. Critics argued he was prepping his congregation for fallout, planting seeds of forgiveness in case evidence sprouted later. Supporters insisted he was demonstrating grace while refusing to dignify lies. The divide grew, and nobody felt satisfied. Behind the scenes, rumor merchants claim an even wilder episode unfolded. Allegedly, Diddy reached out to Bishop Jakes as the lawsuit pile whipped into a tornado. The mogul supposedly begged for image support, private calls to politicians, a reassuring public prayer, anything to soften public outrage. Sources say Jakes declined, not wishing to tie his ministry to a potential Rico-style meltdown. That's when, according to insiders, Diddy erupted. He allegedly reminded the bishop of footage that could go viral in the worst way. It's the kind of threat that turns boardrooms to ice. Whether audio or photos exist is unverified, yet the rumor alone set the internet on fire. Because if such files do surface, they'd wipe out decades of spotless branding in a single upload. And so the narrative took shape. The bishop wasn't passing the torch out of peace, but running from a blast radius. The timing? Too precise to shrug off. He resigns, Diddy's trial looms, and the public braces for a courtroom cage match where loyalty, leverage, and secrets collide. The Lil Rod lawsuit didn't just jolt Bishop Jakes. It also name-checked actor Cuba Gooding Jr., Diddy's son Justin, and top music executives like Ethiopia, Ham Tamariam, and Sir Lucian Grainge. Suddenly, the scandal looked less like a single superstar's downfall and more like an impending industry mudslide. If Diddy truly keeps a digital insurance policy of compromising files, anyone who partied under his chandeliers could face exposure. The bishop's swift exit now resembles an early chess move, sacrificing public prestige to avoid checkmate in open court. And in Hollywood's rumor economy, perception is often reality. T.D. Jakes isn't a typical preacher who can fade into small-town anonymity. He operates a multi-million-dollar media network, partners with studios, consults with Fortune 500 CEOs. His brand hinges on being a beacon of moral clarity. One genuine scandal could vaporize sponsorships, cut distribution deals, and scatter congregants overnight. Yet the bishop's reputation didn't flourish by accident. He's weathered criticism before over lavish homes, expensive suits, and prosperity gospel critiques. Each time he pivoted, doubled his audience, and emerged stronger. So the question isn't just, can Jakes survive? It's, how powerful are the receipts? And can they overpower decades of goodwill? Twitter detectives predict 3 possible futures. 1, the files surface. Diddy, cornered in court, unleashes everything. If the bishop appears in compromising content, expect immediate fallout. Bookstores pulling titles, networks yanking sermons, and a PR scramble bigger than any church scandal in recent memory. Is 2, a quiet settlement. Lawyers on both sides agree to hush money, NDAs multiply, and the public never sees the rumored footage. Jakes eases into new projects, Diddy faces a lighter legal hit, and conspiracy theories smolder indefinitely. 3, total misfire. Receipts don't exist or prove trivial. The bishop's name clears, and critics eat humble pie. He spins the ordeal into a best-selling testimony about standing firm amid lies. Diddy still fights his battles alone, but Jakes rides a wave of vindication. Right now, bettors lean toward door number 1, not because they want it, but because Hollywood rarely delivers clean endings. A year ago, nobody imagined a storyline where the nation's most famous pastor and hip-hop's most polarizing mogul would share headlines. Yet here we are, one courtroom clock ticks, one pulpit empties, and a comedian with a track record for truth bombs claimed she's holding the matchbook. If even half the whispers land in daylight, we may witness the largest credibility collapse in modern megachurch history. If the rumors fizzle, it could become cautionary proof that viral speculation alone can shake empires. Either way, the audience is locked in, popcorn ready, scrolling for any fresh leak. So, what's your verdict? Is Bishop Jakes a casualty of guilt by association, or did he dance too close to the flame and lose track of the exit? Scroll down, drop your theory, and don't forget to subscribe. We've queued up a deep dive on Diddy's full legal timeline so you can follow every chess move before the gavel drops. One thing's certain, the next chapter will either crown a comeback king or expose a fallen giant, and this story is far from over.